Mainstreaming disaster waste management. When natural disasters such as typhoons, floods, and earthquakes occur, large amounts of waste are generated. The waste generated from natural disasters is called disaster waste. In the case of severe natural disasters, the amount is equal to several years or even decades of waste at once. When typhoons and floods occur, furniture, home appliances, etc. are generated as waste. In the case of earthquakes, debris such as concrete and stones, glass and roofs are also generated. If we dispose such large amounts of disaster waste in landfills, the capacity for daily solid waste management waste is affected. Issue of disaster waste. Large amount of disaster waste becomes an obstacle to recovery and reconstruction from disasters. Disaster waste perpetuates the memory of the disaster and turns people's mindset toward recovery and reconstruction backward. Disaster waste leads to many issues in terms of preserving living environments. For example, piled up waste can become a source of dust and may even cause a fire. Putrefying waste can also cause foul odors and water pollution. If large amounts of disaster waste are transported directly to landfills, etc., the capacity for normal waste management will be consumed. The landfill is the main facility and infrastructure in Asia and the Pacific. However, these landfills are not designed to handle huge volumes of disaster waste. However, these large amounts of disaster waste can be reused and recycled if they are separated and properly disposed of. That is the key to disaster waste management. Relation of disaster waste management and global initiatives. Disaster waste management has been related to various initiatives around the world in recent years. The SDGs, which you are all familiar with, are also closely related to disaster waste management. Sustainable city development and recovery and reconstruction from disasters are linked to Goal 11 Sustainable Cities and Communities. Preventing the negative effects of waste leads to Goal 3. Good health and well-being, and in terms of reusing and recycling waste, Goal 12 Responsible consumption and production applies. Preparation for natural disasters, which are increasing due to climate change, is closely related to Goal 13 Climate action. Activity for material cycle and circular economy during normal times can also be utilized for disaster waste management. In the case of the Great East Japan earthquake in 2013, 80% of disaster waste was recycled. Valuable materials such as plastics and metals can be recycled. Debris and rubble are reused and recycled for improving infrastructure after separating and crushing. Some waste could be utilized as raw material and fuel in the cement industry. Wood can also be used as fuel by cutting it. Attention to marine plastic pollution is increasing. Disaster waste includes a variety of garbage. If improperly disposed of, it can lead to large amounts of marine debris. Separating, reusing, and recycling disaster waste can prevent the generation of marine debris and plastic pollution. Due to climate change caused by global warming, meteorological disasters such as typhoons, hurricanes, cyclones, floods, storm surges, landslides are becoming more frequent and increasing in scale. Adaptation measures to climate change are becoming increasingly important, and disaster waste also could be considered as a means of preparing for climate change. The damage from natural disasters is increasing due to urbanization and population growth, in addition to the climate change mentioned above. Emerging countries in Asia and the Pacific are at high risk of natural disasters, and disaster risk reduction and urban resilience are challenges for sustainable development. Considering disaster preparedness and resilience, it is necessary to raise the priority of waste management. Disaster waste management before disasters. When a natural disaster occurs, a large amount of disaster waste is generated at once. By separating, processing, reusing, and recycling disaster waste, we can reduce the amount of final disposal of disaster waste. For proper and efficient disaster waste management, it is important to consider a contingency plan even before a disaster occurs. Additionally, by promoting appropriate solid waste management during normal times, including reuse and recycling, disaster waste disposal can be carried out smoothly. In order to tackle disaster waste management among various policy issues, it is necessary to raise the priority and mainstream efforts. It is necessary to advance disaster waste management in coordination with SDGs, material cycle, circular economy, climate change countermeasures, resilience and sustainable living, etc.